Hey everyone, Jeff here, and welcome to our second video in our Elder Scrolls Legends Let's Play video series. Today's video we will be covering Act 2. So assuming that you're here because you watched the first video and thought it was the greatest thing you've ever seen, I reflected a little bit on my play, some of my comments, the mechanics of the game, and also just how the cards are constructed and how they interact with each other. I actually rewatched my entire first video. I thought the gameplay was fine. I thought my play was fine. I saw a few gameplay mistakes and or minor misplays I may have had as I played through the game, but for the most part I was pleased. Something that I mentioned at the very beginning of the first video, and again I revisited a few times throughout the video and at the end, was I found a lot of similarities between this and Magic the Gathering. And again, I think you're going to have to take influence from somewhere. You know, charge, haste, lethal, death touch, etc. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just goes to show how strong an influence a game like Magic has in, strategy card games in general, throughout the world, I suppose. So I just wanted to comment on that real fast. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing for players who are coming from Magic the Gathering and who are watching this video and who are wondering, is it too much the same? I don't think it's too much the same. I actually think that you'll like that you're familiar with some of the gameplay mechanics overall, just because you are going to see things that you're accustomed to seeing. Charges, haste, right? Red deck wins, I'm sure, is absolutely a thing. I can see how aggressive some of the red cards are already just in the packs I've opened. So, again, initial thoughts after literally one video. That's all I've done. I haven't done anything else in this game so far. I'm jumping in right after the first video left off, and I just wanted to share my thoughts. So we're going to get into Act 2 of the story, and I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching.
I love a good storm. Makes the seafaring life interesting.
How about pirates?
No, they're right bastards. Treat an honest smuggler like a common merchant. There's no honor among scoundrels.
Okay, so let's play this match. Okay, I've acquired a new deck, which I remember from the last video. We got Black Marsh Smugglers for beating Act 1. I have to admit, when we played Swims at Night, it seemed a bit weak. We have cards from 2 new attributes, where your first deck used Strength and Willpower. Your new one has Agility and Endurance. Sure. So we could play this. We could edit it. We also have Alduin's Apocalypse. But I don't know where that came from. Is this something that we can do? Let's edit. Let's take... I'm very confused, I have to admit. I have no idea what to do at this point. I probably should just hop into a game so that you're not sitting here bored, but let's see. Oh man, for me to go through all this is going to be a day, huh? Dragon Cult Ghost, 1/1, spend all your... Okay, that's a vanilla always. 1 for a 2/3, Shackle. A shackle creature misses its next attack. Interesting. When you summon a dragon, summon a 1/1 Draugr Sentry with guard. Summon +1/+0 for each enemy creature in this lane. So this could be up to a 6/3 for 2. That seems kind of insane value. I'm sure you never really get that unless you draw this late in the game and you're already way behind, but we have Midnight Snack. 2/2 Prophecy. This Prophecy system, again, that's something I wanted to comment on in my intro and I forgot to do so. The Prophecy system struck me as something that is so unique. Again, with a very limited experience playing card games, I don't know if there's another system like that that exists, that is out there in another game, but in this game I found it to be extremely unique. And when I was watching my playthrough of Act 1, I noticed that my attack order, something I learned rewatching and sort of evaluating my plays, was I saw my attack order was sometimes a bit off. I could have attacked with other creatures to prevent myself from breaking runes, and then attacked with higher power creatures to break the rune once all the other damage had already been dealt. So we're going to be evaluating attack order in this video a little bit more. Last gasp is bonus effect when it is destroyed. Okay, so when this dies, something happens. That's cool. I don't know that it's necessarily worth going through every single one of these cards. Edict of Azura, destroying an enemy creature or support. That's really cool. 2 more of these Hive Defenders. That seems excellent. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, 3 Piercing Javelins. Wow, awesome. Spine of Elder's Blood, Dragon, 6 for 6/6, summon gain +1 max magicka, so this ramps you. 7 for 7/7 with regenerate, heals at the start of your turn. Well, that's just a shameless ripoff. Manticora, 10 for 6/6 with guard, summon destroy an enemy creature in this lane. Wow. So that's 6/6 with guard seems like a pretty hefty body in this game anyway. I mean, look at what you have to play to trade into something like that. And then the namesake of the deck, Alduin. For 20. Wow, so it must go up to like an infinite number. It's a 12/12, costs 2 less for each dragon in your discard pile. Summon, destroy all other creatures at the start of your turn. Summon a random dragon from your discard pile. So this looks like, this is purple, this is yellow. This is kind of like a legendary. Unique, limit 1 per deck, so you can only have 1 of these. And it looks like the cap on the rest is 3. So again, bear with me. You know, feel free. Well, now if you're watching, it's been too late to skip to this point. I may make a note that I stumbled through deck list for the first 10 minutes, and if you want to get straight to the gameplay, I'll let you know when to skip right to. But this looks like it has tremendous synergy, and I mean, come on, can we pass up playing Alduin when we have the chance? I don't think so. Do we want to edit this at all? You know what? No. I just want to play it. I want to experience it. I want to see how the... we probably should look at Black Marsh Smugglers real fast. I have to admit, though, I really wasn't impressed by what this deck did, but it could just have been that my opponent had a very bad draw. The Swims at Night AI character. Daedric Dagger, an item, gives something lethal, and Dune Rogue, a 3/1 with Prophecy. Pretty cool. This lethal creature seems great. A 3/2 for 3, not bad. We know that card ramps from the last video. So this seems about just generating a lot of magicka, getting to some bigger creatures perhaps, the lethal mechanic. But there's a lot of unupgraded cards in this deck, and Alduin's Apocalypse, Territorial Viper, charge and lethal. Wow, for a 1/1, that's kind of funny. It's just essentially a removal spell for 4. Which is pretty good because Piercing Javelin is 5 and basically serves as a removal spell all the time. I suppose this has some extra utility because if you don't charge into something, it stays alive. But when would you ever use this not to kill something, right? That doesn't seem to make any sense. Thorn Hissmage, gain +1 max magicka, gains +1/+0 when your max magicka increases. Oh wow, seems pretty good. Summon a 2/3 Snow Fox. Oh, a 2 for 1. I mean, 6 is kind of expensive, but still. And then it caps out its Swamp Leviathan. Just in huge, fat 8/8 body. But this deck does seem incomplete. You know, with the unupgraded cards and everything. So, I really like that I played Band of Survivors through all of Act 1. But we're going to take Alduin's Apocalypse to the story mode, at least for a few games in Act 2, just to see how it performs, play something totally different, and see how it goes. We're just facing pirates. Female pirates. Let's hope they don't have crabs. A pirate ship is moving back and forth on the sea. You spot a pirate on the bow. We go second.
When you go second, You start the game with a ring of magicka. Select it when you want to use it for a temporary magicka boost.
Okay.
I stole this cargo fair and square. Let's send these dishonorable thieves into the brine.
So we have ramp, and then Preserve of the Root. I didn't look over this card earlier. 4/4 +2/2 in guard while you have 7 or more max magicka. So you could play it on 4 as a 4/4, but that doesn't seem great. I don't think we keep this. I think we try to get some early plays, but I do think we keep the ramp because if we can, I mean, even if we start off a little slow, if we can catch up, we know our late game based on some of the higher cost cards in our deck is much better. So this could be a misplay keeping both of these, but yeah, we're learning as we go. And we have another 3-drop, which is not great. +2/+0 while there are no enemy creatures in this lane.
Look alive, men, or this storm will toss you about.
Whoa. Wait, what? At the end of your opponent's turn, a random creature switches lanes. Okay, so random lane effects are interesting because basically we can't count on, like, if we put a creature here to contest this, let's just say, like Ancient Lookout, we might put this here right now to contest this. But at the end of the turn, something's going to switch. So we really can't put it here because, I mean, they may take this trade, but if not, then this switches back and they still just have 4 power on board. But then we put Tree Minder and then we have something in both lanes. Alright, I like that line. Also, I should mention that I did create a Bethesda account. And so that's why you see I'm no longer just Breton Guest or whatever it was. I actually have a name. I'm still the Forgotten Hero. I don't know what that means. But, alright, so gain 1 magicka. Let's play Ancient Lookout. By playing this here, also, we do prevent it from doing 4 more damage to us if it goes face, and it's impossible for this to trade into this as it stands now, so...
Die, scurvy dog.
If the top card of your deck is an action, draw it, otherwise put it on the bottom. So I guess, since it made the symbol... it activated, and that he now has, my opponent, not he, she, now has an action. Alright, we'll attack first, and then this ring of magicka is pretty cool.
The water's alive.
We'll ramp.
Die, scurvy dog.
Away with you!
Okay. We're taking quite a bit of damage from these aggressive creatures, and he did something. My opponent did something. Ice Spike, deal 2 damage to your opponent, draw a card. I mean, cycling for 2 isn't bad, plus you get some damage in. This seems like a pretty high utility spell. Draws a card. I like drawing cards. So we could take this trade and just not care about triggering this bonus effect. We have no dragons in hand at all. So I think that might be the play. Yeah, let's take that trade. And then we have 4 with up to 5. So we could either do, just play this out, but then it doesn't really do anything. And I don't think that's the right line with this card. I think this card is rare because you can, once you get up to 7 or 8, you can play this plus something else and just get tremendous value out of this without it taking your whole turn. So on 4, I think we want to ramp again for sure. And then we can either use this or maybe keep that. This adds an interesting new element. I think we just want to ramp because we can basically do it for free this turn since we have no other pressure on us. Another ice spike. Sure. Gives me another card, which I don't hate. Lurking Crocodile. 3/2 with Prophecy. And that blows over here. Let's look at what we drew. Put a 1/2 Septum Guardsman with guard into your hand. Friendly guards have +1/+0. Okay, well that will allow us to trade with that. And then Devour is destroy a creature with 4 power or less and give its keywords to a random dragon in your hand. So I guess this could serve as removal for 4, which doesn't seem bad, but if you have a dragon, of course, it kind of makes the effect excellent. So we'll play Imperial Camp here. I think we just take this trade. So this gets tricky because we could theoretically just attack our opponent directly, which may be right, but again, I really just like keeping a clean board and then having an end game that can close it out. So I'm going to take this trade. Again, might not be the right line. And then I'll play an Ancient Lookout. I suppose we also probably want to protect it because we're getting to a point that if we draw a dragon, we can cast it and then we'll start to get some value off of this. So
My sword is yours.
I'll protect it.
I used to be an adventurer like you.
Summon, deal 2 damage to me.
Magnus, god of sorcery, be with me.
And this is when its ward is broken, double its power. So it would become a 2/1, which seems fine. Oh, now if we had a dragon in our hand, we could give it ward, which I think would be pretty cool. But as it stands, I think we use Hive Defender to defend against this lane. Again, I want to keep this Ancient Lookout alive, I'm pretty sure, because we're getting to a point where we can cast a dragon if we draw it. And so it's probably to our benefit to protect that if possible without just taking this trade. And then we'll put something else in this lane. This is Prophecy Guard, give a creature in your hand guard. So we could play this and then give this guard, which I think is a fine play.
Time to take the offensive.
And we will of course choose this card because this card has the possibility of getting guard. Oh, it automatically will get guard if we play it next turn.
Knave.
So, it has been written.
What just happened? I'm pretty sure what just happened is our opponent went to Value Town. Fate Weaver, 6 for a 3/3 with Prophecy. Summon, draw a card. If it's a Prophecy, you may play it for free. So if I attack my opponent and they get this Prophecy, they get a free 3/3 on board. And then if they draw another card and it's a Prophecy, they get 2 free cards just because I attacked them. How many of these do you think they're running in the deck? I don't know. But we do have a guard here, and we have a guard here. So I'm not really worried about this. But that was a pretty baller play. Giving this award like that. So attack order, I said I wanted to consider. So we'll do this, that we don't break the rune with Hive Defender first. Then we'll attack with Hive Defender and our other 2 creatures. Oh, if it's one of these, we're fucked. Well, not totally boned, but a 3/2 is pretty good. So we just need to protect this lane with everything that we have because
We can do this.
Otherwise, our life total is in real danger here. And our opponent just keeps hitting us with those ice spikes. That's, I think, the third one now.
This day is mine.
What just happened? So this or just a 2/2 with guard now, and you must deal 2 damage to a friendly creature. Okay. Well, we have favorables everywhere except whatever is happening here, but we also can protect it with Midnight Snack. So I think we take our favorable trade here, our favorable trade here. Again, we will attack them down to 11 first, and then do our extra 3. Alright, seems good. And then I mean, I could devour this because then we're representing lethal, but we'll represent lethal even with Midnight Snack here. I suppose we'll play another Ancient Lookout too, because now our opponent has to answer multiple creatures in each lane for us not to win. Which could be possible. Not triggering that seems good for us.
I used to be an adventurer like you.
This will give us a card. Oh. Alright. So that was a great draw because we just get to put something huge on the board. This was also a great draw, right? Because we have both of these out. So if we play either one of these, it'll just spit out minions. But again, I think the strategy here is attack first and then play spells. So we can go 3 and 3.
Back, I say. For Falkreath.
And 3. There it is. Alduin's Apocalypse. I didn't actually play any dragons. Kind of depressing. I feel like maybe before I attacked that last time, I should have just played the dragon so that I could say I played a dragon. Probably. Oh, and I'm doing my daily quests while we do this video series. Endurance. Another one of these fatties. 8/8. Great. Suppress. 0. Silence a creature. Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. 0 cost cards. They're pretty good. Because you could be at your mana limit and then just be able to play something for nothing. There's absolutely no penalty for having something like this in your deck. So I don't know how valuable silencing is. We haven't seen an effect like that yet. But 0 cost cards can be strong. And then Lurking Mummy, 5 for a 2/6. Prophecy and Guard. So this is just super defensive. This is, you're being attacked. You trigger this Prophecy. It comes down, protects you. Sure. And these are added to Black Marsh Smugglers. Okay. So that deck looks like it just got a little better.
There's no sign of Lana. You think the crash killed them all?
Maybe. Or maybe it was the locals.
Are those Spriggans? So we have so many options here. I have to admit, after one game, and I know it's not a huge sample, but after one game, I really think I enjoyed playing Band of Survivors more than I enjoyed playing Alduin's Apocalypse. This kind of felt like, I don't want to say underpowered. I don't know the best way to describe it. We won. I'm going to play it again. I'm going to give it another try. Maybe after one more game, we do some editing in the deck editor and just see if we can finish out this act with a modified version of this deck, improve it somehow. I mean, but what do I know about what cards are good and what cards are bad yet? They are Spriggans, I knew it. I mean, obviously we just want to fireball them to death, because fire is very good against Spriggans. We have, I mean, this seems fine. We have 3 of our prophecies in our hand. So here's something that I'm going to have to learn as I play this game. Do you mulligan prophecies, like even if they're playable, do you mulligan them just so that you have a higher percentage of getting a prophecy when your opponent attacks you? I don't know the answer to that. I think that I am going to mulligan 1 Midnight Snack, because we have a play on turn 2, we have a play on turn 3. Let's try to look for a turn 4 play and cycle a prophecy back into our deck. And we have a turn 4 play, and this is good because these are those crabs we were talking about from the last video, making an appearance. Am I worried about this 1/1 that I want to use one of these boosts to play a creature now? I don't think so. I want to get more information about what my opponent is playing before I make a decision on... This is good. 1 for a 2/1 with Drain. That's cool. Okay, ooh, we have a dragon. So if we play Midnight Snack here, it's guaranteed to reduce this by 1, so we can play it a turn early. And we have Mentor the Watch, so we can have a 7/7 guard regenerating dragon. Like, I don't know what my opponent is playing, but if we get that live, how do they beat that? Only time will tell. Let's pass turn. Wow. Just like that, a removal spell. I didn't even see what it was. Hold on a second. You know, I read this card and then didn't understand what it did, because I just realized that my opponent gained 2 life. When this deals damage on your turn, you gain that much health. So it has to be on your turn. So this is not a true lifelink effect, because lifelink is offensive or defensive in Magic, and this is only offensive. So if you're behind in the game and you play a drain creature to help you keep up, it needs to stay alive for a turn for you to get the life back. Otherwise, it hasn't done you any good. What is this card? Snowhawk Detachment. Guard. Summon +1/+1 if you have another creature with guard. So if we play this, here it dies. But it's the only other thing we can do. Like, we can play this next turn. So, do we sacrifice 3 more life to play this here? And then be able to play a 4/6 over here. And eat, most likely, whatever else our opponent plays. I think it's a bit risky. It might be crafty. Give a creature in your hand guard. Oh my god, this dragon. Oh my god. Because we're 1 turn off from playing this, and we're 2 turns off from playing that. So, and look at that. Beautiful. A prophecy. We cycled this back into the deck. This is exactly what I was hoping would happen.
Is someone out there?
We'll put that there, obviously. And this is at 5. So honestly, that damn Bog Lurcher. You know, if you watch the first video, you'll hear me tear this card apart. And now, here it is, making my 7/7 guard regenerate dragon look pretty lame, because it attacks right through it. I wish I had one of those spells that did 2 damage to it. I forget what it's called. I think Firebolt. Let's attack first. Obviously, we're always going to attack first. Maybe we play Imperial Camp and put the free guard over here. Because this can't attack through it, and then the 9-1 would just be kind of boned. Oh, what a misplay. If we had played that first, we would have gotten an extra point of damage with
My sword is yours.
Mentor of the Watch. Yeah. Yeah. If anyone has this exact hand in a future playthrough, pro tip, play Imperial Camp first. Because that would have been the correct line. Okay, so here we go. I mean, it cost me 4 to play Imperial Camp, so I kind of took a turn off to do that, but that little 0-cost guard ate that 9-1 creature. So my initial assessment of that 9-1 creature seems like it's shit is still totally true. And now we're in a position where I don't care about this at all, but we can poke for 3 and then play a 7/7 with guard and regenerate. And again, his 2 creatures will be able to kill this, but this will eat 2 creatures for 5. Which seems excellent. And I'm not trying to get greedy with the Ancient Lookout dragon plays, because we have more dragons in our deck. So it will be more than possible for us to get value out of Ancient Lookout later in the game. And at this point, I just don't think I want to take 5 more uncontested face damage. This did something, and I wasn't paying attention. There's a lot going on. I just missed some of what happened there. We're gonna look in the game history here to see what happened. So deal 2 damage to each player on summon. Okay, that's still out. And then item 1/1 summon, give the wielder drain this turn. Okay, so that's how it became a 6/4. And gain 6 life back. Okay. Okay. Alright, I think we're all caught up on what just happened. And so now we go 3. Let's play this while we still have the opportunity. It's not full saturation, right? We're not using all our mana if we do that. We would be using all our mana if we played an Iron Scale Dragon somewhere, but I think we probably want to save those for Ancient Lookout. So we can play this here, again, just to eat some of this damage. We don't really care about this 1. That's going to give us a card, which, you know, how many times can I say I love drawing cards in one video series? We'll put this over here to contest it, and then when we play an Iron Scale Dragon next turn on curve, we will get a 1/1 with guard as well. So that seems great. And then we can make that play 2 turns in a row. Sure. As a matter of fact, what is this? Summon, give all enemy creatures in this lane -1/-0. And what is this? When you gain health, green touch spring gains that much power. Oh. But he has no way of gaining health now. But what we could do is we could play this over here. That way both of these can't do any damage. And we get our trigger. Very cool. And I think this is the bigger threat, but in case he has a way to buff something again, I think we kind of just want to take a trade where we can. Same thing here. Both of these lanes are pretty solid. I suppose we just put Midnight Snack over here for now, so we have
Is someone out there?
pretty robust presence in each lane. Oh, there's that card that we saw in that other deck. That's a cool looking Snow Fox, I have to admit. Alright. Well, we want to kill this because, again, if he has a way to gain life, this could get out of control real fast. So, We could take a turn off of playing another dragon, a huge dragon, and just playing this camp and this dragon, and then this would be a 6/4. This, you know, all these would get more. Yeah, so I normally, again, I would attack first, but I learned my lesson from last time that we want to get that power on board first. And now, because we did this, this enables us to trade into this like this, without having to use... And then we're going to have to give him a card.
We have the advantage.
With our first attack, so we might as well attack with our strongest creature.
Get back, I say.
Get back, I say. I like that. And then I suppose we'll put the dragon here because he'll make another guard over in this lane. Actually, let's experiment. This could be a huge misplay, but if I put this dragon here, will it make the guard in that lane, or will it fizzle because there's not room for it? So I think that the correct play is to put this over here so that it makes the Draugr guard over here, but I'm going to experiment in this match by putting it over here just to see how the game interacts with lane placement. Well, the game interacts great with lane placement because we got our other guard anyway, so as long as there's a spot open, it will happen. I don't want to play this out because then we'll be full, and I want to have a spot for one of these dragons next turn. Plus, we have more than lethal on the board anyway, so I'm not really worried about playing another 3/2 guard. Although, again, just kind of highlighting the strength of zero-cost creatures, right? In the right shell, look at what this creature can do. Become a 3/2 for 0. A lot just happened again because I was going on a rant about how great cards are that cost nothing to play. And I think that's probably true everywhere, and it's especially true in this example. This is a 2/2 with Charge and Drain for 3. Wow. I wish I had some of these for that green and purple deck. All I'm saying is that this giant bat seems pretty good. So we will attack. So we can do 5 damage to him. Well, if we attack with this one, it breaks 2. So I guess that's better because this is stronger. Alright, now we have lethal any number of ways, but let's make the smart play. Because if you're always in the routine of making the smart play,
Time to take the offensive.
then you won't get cute and you won't get fancy, and you'll just always be in the habit of making the smart plays. So let the record show that I think that we demolished this match. Although, again, this deck, just this constructed deck given to me by a miracle. I don't know. I don't understand how I got it, to be honest, but it showed up and it is cool. We haven't seen Alduin. Could we even play Alduin? No, we don't have anywhere near 20. Wow, how do you even play Alduin in this game? I guess you have to have... Oh, look at that. Piercing Javelin. I don't need to play this, and I constantly say, don't get cute, and let me explain what I mean by that. And there's a lot of rants in this video, so enjoy. What I mean by don't get cute is... What you should do in this situation 100% of the time is just attack with a creature and kill your opponent. Because if you're playing in a PvP match, there's no reason to do anything but that. They know they've been beat. There's no reason to humiliate or embarrass your opponent. You have a much stronger board presence. You dominated them in a victory. And to do something flashy or showy just for the sake of being flashy or showy or, showboating to your opponent doesn't accomplish anything, right? And so, you know, again, you should just attack. Being cute is when you don't just attack. And so, again, this is an AI opponent, so I'm gonna pull a moment and do something that I would say is unnecessary, but I'm going to Piercing Javelin a creature because I want to see what the animation looks like when you destroy a creature, because the card looks badass, and I'm super curious to see how this turns out. So I'm gonna Piercing Javelin Wild Spriggan. Oh my god. Yeah, that was worth it. And now we will attack him with a game. That was neat. That was real neat. Oh, we're almost at another level. Okay, so I'm really warming up to this deck.
As the Spriggans fell, the travelers spotted one beckoning them into the woods.
Nag would have followed, but Mother always said this one was too curious.
Alright, we have two options here. Follow or loot. Hackwing Feather item, 1/3 and regenerate. So, and these are both rares, huh? And then Green Touch Spriggan. When you gain health, Green Touch Spriggan gains that much power. So here's my thing about cards like this. It's 5 for a 1/5. Without this text, this card is terrible. You would never in a million years play a card that was 5 for a 1/5. So in a vacuum, it's bad. And even when you add in this second effect, when you gain health, Green Touch Spriggan gains that much power, even when you add in this second effect, it doesn't do anything on its own. So there were cards that we played in the last match that were like that one card that when it enters the battlefield, you give another creature in your hand guard. Like, I get that you have to have a creature in your hand, but just by playing it, it does something. In order for a card like this to work, you need to put it in a shell that you're gaining life at a rate that's reasonable for you to run a card like this in the 5-drop spot. And that just, it doesn't seem practical to me to do that because, again, if you build an entire deck around one card that you have 3 copies of, you know, first of all, what are the odds of you drawing that one card? Like, we had 3 Piercing Javelins in our deck, and it took us, what, 10 or 11 turns to even draw one of them. And at that point, I didn't even need it, right? So I thought it was an awesome card, and yeah, we blew a creature up, and the animation was killer. Let's not deny it. But you know, the odds of you getting it are slim, and so building a whole deck around something that, you know, this card obviously needs a lot of help to function doesn't seem smart. That being said, I also think this card is pretty terrible, but you know, again, if you top deck this and you're already behind, I don't know how much good this does you, but if we were to just put it on a creature like a Hive Defender, for instance, and it becomes a 4/9 with regenerate, and it's already a guard, like, imagine how much damage you could withstand. So I just think killing a 5-drop spot for this is pretty bad. I'm going to go out on a limb without having any other knowledge and say that this probably is not constructed playable in any format at all. And this I don't think is either, but of the two, it's, I think, the stronger pick.
The adventurers did not trust the creature and found a treasure it had no doubt hoped to lead them away from.
So here's some game rewards. I don't know why, because I don't think we did anything to earn them. 5 more septums. Agility. What do we have here? So we know this card. Again, 1 for a 2/1 with Drain is pretty cool, because it comes out on turn 1. Like, if your opponent doesn't have an answer, it's just a 4-point life swing for 1. Seems alright. Daring Cut Purse. Prophecy. I'm really liking this Prophecy mechanic. I can't wait to do some PvP and see how, you know, human players use the Prophecy mechanic to their advantage. Pilfer. Bonus effect when this damages the opponent. So if you play it and you get to attack with it and it connects, it becomes a 3/3. And then I'm assuming the buff stays. It must, because again, being a 3/3 for a turn doesn't seem very good. So then it becomes a 4/4, a 5/5. That seems pretty crafty. And then finish off. Destroy a wounded enemy creature. So something interesting that I wanted to note is that creatures in this game retain damage. And I think they kind of have to, because when you play things like 3/6 guards, or cards like that dragon that I gave guard that were 7/7 guards, like I know that had regenerate, but that aside, if it was just a 7/7 with guard, how often do you have that kind of power on board in one lane that you can just do all the damage in one turn, right? So I think that the fact that the creatures do retain the damage is a really neat thing. It's something I'm not familiar with. I'm kind of getting accustomed to it myself. But now that I know there's a spell available to just, destroy a wounded creature, that's neat. And I think this would definitely go in that green deck. Seems like a very powerful effect. That I could see that and the cat both being constructed playable.
Ancient ruin, only to fall prey to its ferocious new inhabitants.
I could use a little help here.
He will do anything for that, Laneth. Maybe he loves her. Is that look in his eye? Is he giving her that "you're my lover and I'll die for you" look? I don't know. Let's find out. So I think at this point we've played 2 games. I'm going to edit this and just see what else we have in these colors. I don't think we've opened any packs specifically with... Oh, but we do have yellow cards. I forgot about that. We have a lot of yellow cards. Like, this has 2 Hive Defenders, and I think you want to run 3. I don't think there's any question that this is a 3 of. Let's add one. Loyal House, Carl, Prophecy, Summon, give a creature +2/+2 in guard. And that kind of goes with the theme here of playing big guarded creatures, right? So that's a consideration. And also the tiger. But we also have to consider the dragon theme. Do we want to... dilute any of the dragon? This is +2/+2, summon +2/+2 if you have a dragon in your discard pile. So for 4, you could give something 4/4. Again, I don't think this is great, because the dragon synergy is cool, but if you top deck it and you have nothing to put it on, it's a dead card. And for 4, you could just play something like Hive Defender, which just seems better, right? But I don't know what our other options are. So we have some 0. We have some more ramp. Maybe we consider adding more ramp to get to our late game faster. We have another one of these, which seems excellent. Like, okay, so instead of Dragon Plate Armor, I could see running this, because at the very least it puts 4/4 power on the board. And again, you could just have a 6/6 with that. Just seems so much better. I'm going to leave everything in. I'm just going to add what I think is good, and then we're going to make edits. We only have one of those available. None left. We have none of those. I really like this Crushing Blow card because we don't have any reach in this deck at all, right? So we either need to remove creatures with our creatures, or we don't remove them at all. So I wonder if Crushing Blow would be a strong card to add. It's one of those things where you say, what do you take out for it, right? Because everything else seems really good. We have 3, 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 we have 3. We have play sets of a lot of things. If I had another one of these, I'd probably put it in, because this card seems pretty stupid good. But I think we take 2 Dragon Plate Armor out. So we've added a Hive Defender and we've added a Preserver of the Root. So our curve hasn't changed at all. We took 2 4s out for 2 more 4s, keeping the deck exactly balanced the way it was when they gave it to us. Something that I'm not crazy about is this Dragon Cult Ghost. And the reason I'm not crazy about it is because I don't think you play it on turn 1. And again, if you do play it, it's always just going to be a vanilla creature. So do you want to just be playing a vanilla creature, or do you want to be playing something better? I think you want to be playing something better. Let's take that out. And I don't like this either, because although 1 for a 2/3 is phenomenal stats, you only get 1 attack out of this before it's shackled. And shackle is a massive tempo loss. I kind of can't decide if this is good. Like, just playing a 2/3 on turn 1 and swinging for 2, and if it goes uncontested by your opponent, that's really good, right? So that's excellent, but then what? Right? That's the question. Then what do you do? Then it just sits there? We're a little weak in the 6-drop spot. We could add one of these Golden Saints or a Tiger. It would take out like the 1-drop play, but again, I think that we don't really care about the 1-drop play too much. So do we want one of each? This is really only good if we have more health, if we play against an aggressive deck and we're behind. But then again, we have so many guards in our deck that we can probably support this card with no problems at all. Is there another 6-drop? If you have more health than your opponent, summon a random creature from your discard pile. Huh. So are there effects like this for every color? 4 6-drops. We could go up to 5. Or we could play another 2-drop because 7 seems a little light. Is this how you filter?
You can select the filter again to turn it off.
Sweet. When you summon another creature, you gain a health. Seems good. Plus it's a 3/2 body. I like this 3/2 body that does something more than the 2/3 body for 1 that gets shackled. Okay, so I think we swapped out 4 cards. Again, I don't know if my card choices were great. If you're watching this and you've already played this game and you're a pro, you're great at it, and you're screaming right now, no, don't pick that card. Oh, here she is.
Are all the cultists dead?
I think so. And if we're not careful, we will be too.
We don't have a single turn 2 play, but I don't think we can get rid of a turn 3 play, because if we do and then we draw nothing, and goblins historically are just aggressive, right? I mean, that's my hunch telling me we could just get wrecked. Like, totally wrecked. So I think we have to keep at least 1 guard. Midnight Sweep. I didn't even read this card. I just saw that it was 4, and I just decided I didn't want a 4. Prophecy. Summon a 2/2 Colovian Trooper with guard in each lane. Well, that's really cool, but again, I'm a fan of shuffling the prophecies back into the deck. I'm tempted not to even keep this for the same reason. How are goblins green and not red? What is going on here? I'll keep this. Yeah, okay. Oh god, this is more disappointing than my last relationship. It has 2/0 on your turn. Okay. Well, this card will help us get to our curve better. But see, this is where you take the gamble with Golden Saint, right? I was nervous about this for this very reason. If we played an aggressive match and we were behind on health, then 6 for a 4/4 kind of isn't great. Wow. This prophecy system is really something else.
Time to take the offensive.
Give a creature my hand guard. Well, the earliest one I'm going to get to is this one, so I might as well do this one. Oh, but you know what? That was... I didn't think this through because... Oh, you know what? Honestly, I can give the other one guard with this other Mentor the Watch, but the right play probably would have been to give this one guard because it has regenerate. So, at any point in time, you could just have a regenerating guard creature, which I think is quite a bit better. One way or the other, I think there's a pretty clear trade. They're running aggression, so let's put a guard here. And I think instead of playing Mentor of the Watch, we really just want to play the Tree Minder and start ramping. Because if we can stabilize, we'll run him out of resources and then just win. Okay, so removal spell. This is just a 3-2 that you could potentially play for 1. Sure. I mean, that's great. 1 for a 3-2. That's...
Be careful. These goblins had a powerful chief with them when I first arrived. We'd better finish off as many of them as we can before he comes back.
Yeah. Well, I'm a fan of trading, and so I think we do Tree Minder here, because we can trade both. And Midnight Snack here to protect this lane. And then next turn, we're probably, again... See, this was the problem with putting the guard on the wrong creature. Yep. We're in a position now where we don't want to take 5. And so we're going to have to make a mana inefficient play. Instead of being able to play this one with Regenerate and Guard, we're going to have to play this one instead.
Get back, I say.
And we're missing the opportunity to use all of our mana on this turn. I don't love it, but I do think that this is the right line, because if we start taking 5 a turn, that's a fast clock. Goblin Skulk. Let's see what this guy does. Draw a random 0-cost card from your deck. And that other goblin was a 0-cost card, right? Curse, give a creature -1/-1, or Murkwater Goblin. What? Holy shit. Is it just me, or is Goblin Skull good? I mean, if he was like a 4 or a 5 drop, he probably would be terrible, right? Because by the time you get to that turn, your opponent has a board presence and you most likely have no way of connecting. But if you play this on turn 1, like if you have the ring and you play this on turn 1 and your opponent has no answer, you just get a free card from your deck that you can play for free. I'll tell you what, this game is doing some pretty neat stuff. I'm not gonna lie.
Get back, I say.
Let's attack. Now we have more life, so we can go Golden Saint. And I think we'll also play Mentor the Watch this turn. And we'll play Mentor the Watch over here. We really don't want that connecting, so I don't honestly think it matters, but we'll just put it here. And then we'll give the dragon. And so at this point, again, we're just playing over... I'm probably playing overly cautiously just because I want to be making the right plays and I want to talk through the plays that I'm making as I go. That's the entire point of, you know, a Let's Play series. But we have this game sewn up. I don't think there's any way they come back from this at this point. What is this? When you summon another green creature, it gets +1/+1. So that just gets bigger, but we have ways to answer that. And then at the start of your turn, put a curse into your hand. And the curse is that 0 cost. Okay. So most likely we're just going to use the Piercing Javelin on Murkwater Shaman because it just seems really good.
Get back, I say!
Attack our opponent directly for a ton of damage, and then we will... Yeah, that is just so cool, right? I guess we play Midnight Sweep.
Who goes there? I live to serve. I live to serve.
All this deck does is vomit guards, right? Like, this deck, it must be excellent against aggressive strategies because... Oh, that's... Oh, that was that chieftain. Oh. It's pretty good. Well, let's take a trade here. And then...
To battle!
Kill them all!
Try to close out the game.
Get back, I say!
And the reason I took that trade first was because in case they had a prophecy that put another green creature on the battlefield, that would have gotten 3 toughness instead of 2. So I would not have been able to make that trade at that point. So I should have explained that play as I was doing it. And we got another level. It's taking a while to get these levels now.
The cult was secretly led by Lord Narafin, the Dominion warlord who had captured the Imperial City. To bring about the prophecy, he intended to sacrifice all of the city's inhabitants. Lanath suggested they seek out the Imperial army, then in exile in Skyrim, and warn the Emperor of Narafin's plot.
Lanath. Oh my god, Tyr and Lanath reunited. Well, we'll let them have a moment. Whoa. Breton bonus. Well, let's check out what's in the sack first. 10 Septims, love it. Let's upgrade a card. Oh, this is that lethal creature. This seemed pretty cool. Choose. I say choose every time, I think. Like, everyone knows I have to choose. Thieves Guild Recruit, a 1/2, summon, draw a card. If it costs 7 or more, reduce its cost by 1. Holy shit. I don't even know if I have to read this other card to know that I'm going to be taking the card that allows me to draw a card. And this is Fighters Guild Recruit, a 1/2, Prophecy, Guard, and Lethal. Oh. But actually, that's pretty good. It seems like of all the choices I've had to make so far, this is one of the most balanced. These Argonians are both really good. Like, I could see putting both of these in a deck, like a constructed deck, and running a few copies of each. Maybe not 3. You probably run 3 of this, because if you just draw like that 7-drop dragon, you just play it on turn 6 because you reduce its costs by 1. This is pretty nifty. I mean, at the very least, it puts a 1/2 body on board, and it replaces itself, right? I think I need to stay true to myself with this pick. I honestly think that in a vacuum, this might be the better card, just because of everything that it does. But I can't pass up the opportunity to, as a control player, draw more cards. So we will go with the card draw. This Breton bonus. So this is because I chose this class at the beginning.
You receive a bonus card when you level up. The card depends on your avatar's race.
Oh, okay. So Breton. So Windkeep Spellsword. 2 for 2/2 with Ward. That seems pretty good. able to trade early with other small creatures on the board. It seems like you play this on turn 1 or turn 2, and it's almost always a 2-for-1. And that's advantage right there. So I dig it. And we have a new deck, Dunmer Avengers. This deck includes creatures that help you even in death, and cards that combo with them. It also can deal plenty of damage outside of combat. Okay.
I don't like these woods.
This is the shortest way I know to Skyrim.
But not the safest.
Alright. So, should we check out Dunmer Avengers? Now, we just tweaked Alduin's Apocalypse, and this deck has been extremely strong so far for us. I haven't really struggled in any of the games we've played so far, so let's just continue to play this, maybe through the rest of this act, and then maybe roll out Dunmer Avengers for Act 3. I'm going to have to take a look at the deck list with everyone, but... So this is the second mono green deck we're playing. Spider skitter from their nearby lair. Terrifying. This is a 4/4 and a 5. Although these cards all seem great, I don't think I can keep any of them here. We don't have a play, so I'll pass. So fun fact, I had an apartment once, and there was a spider that lived right underneath the toilet. You know exactly the spot I'm talking about. Right behind the toilet, between the base of the toilet and the wall. And he camped out there for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years straight. Summon, shackle a random enemy creature. Oh my god, RNG effects. Like I said, he camped out there for years and years and years. I didn't see a single other insect in that apartment the entire time I lived there. I'm pretty sure it's because of the toilet spider. So how do I deal with all this? Let's think about this for a second. This is summoning a random spider every single turn. So he's automatically getting, if any draws a card, so he's automatically drawing 2 cards a turn. How do you come back from that kind of advantage? And this is just lethal. So we could make that play this turn where we play this and then give this 7/7 regenerate. But the problem is he's playing lethal creatures. So if we just make this a target with guard and a 1/1 takes it out, that's a bit disappointing. So maybe we just ramp and try to get there faster? So if we ramp, it dies to a creature. If we play this, it dies to a creature. So one way or the other, we lose whatever creature we play. That being said, if we play this over here, it eats the lethal creature. So one way or the other, we eat a creature, they kill a guard, but we're 1 mana up.
The waters of life.
Okay. He's gonna... Yeah, that's fine. All we really wanted to do is get that lethal creature off the board to pave the way for... Oh, perfect. Our prophecy game is strong.
Is someone out there?
Alright. Give all enemy creatures in this lane -1/-0. Well, this card is going to be a bomb in this matchup. I think we need to be greedy, right? So we don't really want to play this until we do have another creature with guard out. We could play the Imperial Camp. So if we play the Imperial Camp and then don't play the guard, we take 6, which is a lot. But then next turn, we can play 2 guards. Or we could just play this. And basically, and then reduce our damage from 6 this turn to 2. So what play do we like more? I'm going to make the safe play. I think this is the safe play. Yep. Okay. Shackle an enemy creature. Not great for us at all. I was hoping to at least be able to eat one of those. Another midnight snack. So we can go Imperial Camp and Midnight Snack, line up for a Snowhawk detachment next turn. Yeah. I think we put this here again because we either eat that lethal creature or we put it here. We need to find a way to deal with that lethal creature, right? Alright, we'll put this here. I think we hold on to this because if we play it out, both our guards get eaten, and then Snowhawk detachment doesn't trigger next turn. Of course, if this dies, this becomes a 5. I think this is fine. God, what I wouldn't give for a Pyroclasm right now. My opponent would be so fucked if I had a Pyroclasm. Alright, so let's go ham with the guards.
Is someone out there?
Take your positions.
My sword is yours.
Because I think if I can prevent enough of this damage, like, all he's drawing is what? Either 1/1 spiders or stuff that shackles me, and that's super inconvenient, but another one of those lethal ones. Wow. Is, yeah, not great. Okay. That seems fine. Well, we can attack with a creature now, which is the first time we've been able to do that all game. It's turn 8. So this is kind of silly, but I'm thinking about using Piercing Javelin on one of these lethal creatures, putting this here, giving this guard.
Time to take the offensive.
Clearing his board, stabilizing at 18. I think if we stabilize here at 18, it's always that lethal creature. Every single time, right? But at least we can attack for 9 this turn. I don't know if he has a way to buff any of these. I'm not going to take the chance. So what we'll do is we'll attack for 4 so that we don't give him 2 cards this turn and take the trade like this. And then... And I don't even care that this isn't the most mana efficient play because that needed to happen. Okay. That's fine. Also fine. Again, I think the biggest threat we're going to face here is the lethal creature, so if we can just deal with...
We have the advantage.
If we can just deal with his lethal creatures that come out, I think we win. Like, I don't think there's any way we don't. I'm going to just populate the board with a bunch of guards. Again, the problem is one lethal creature here means that this dies, but I don't think he can mass shackle a whole lane. So if he does get a lethal creature here, or even two, we should be able to keep this alive, is my thinking. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Okay. So, unfortunately, yeah, we are going to have to lose our 4/4 to this 1/1. Or not. Give all enemy creatures in this lane -1/-0, but this lane is full. So I can't do that. But we also easily have lethal. So, barring him getting prophecy cards, we could just win. So attack like this to give him 1 card. And then we'll attack with 4 and then 8. Instead of the other way around. Okay. Okay, again, this opponent was annoying, but I still feel like we had pretty good control of that game the whole time.
In the spider's web, they found a high elf merchant calling for help.
Did they free him? He might give away their location to the Dominion.
This one would have taken his gold.
Ooh. Huh. This is an interesting choice. I either just get 50 gold, or I get a card. 2 for 2/2 at the end of each turn. If you play 2 actions, draw a card. So this would go in, you know, an action deck. He said, very obviously. It does have this draw a card phrasing. See, the problem with this choice so early in the game is I don't really know the value of this gold. Like, I know that I can get a pack for 100, and that has 6 cards. So this is essentially equivalent to 3 cards. But the 3 random cards versus a card that I have control over choosing. Plus, this is a rare. And how often do you get rares in packs? Maybe... I don't even think they're guaranteed in every pack. So without knowing the value of the currency, really, I'm going to go with the High Elf.
The travelers would not leave him to die, whatever the risk.
Two 4 with regenerate for 4. Again, it can trade into weenie stuff all day and still survive. Gains charge if there's a wounded enemy creature in this lane. I mean, 2 for a 3/1 by itself isn't terrible. This is a little conditional. And then Breton Conjurer. So we're getting some blue cards, although I don't have any decks that have blue. Oh, we unlocked the one deck that was green and blue, but I didn't look at it yet. When Breton Conjurer's Ward is broken, summon a 5/5 Frost Atronach with Guard. Okay, so this is that 5/5 thing from video 1 that I had to bounce. So this has a Ward, so we can trade with something and then bring out a Guard for 4. I don't know. Kind of seems like a tempo loss to play a 1/1 for 4. Like, if you're doing this on turn 4... you really need that guard, otherwise you're kind of just behind, right? I would be interested in experimenting with it for sure.
No one in this tavern knows where the Emperor's forces are camped out.
Or maybe the locals just aren't fond of the Imperials.
Yeah, no need to change. Let's keep going with the This dragon deck. There's a ton of guards in this deck. This stuff is really if stuff is unable to hit us, that's the perfect way to control a game. Watch out for flying bottles. All right, we go second. Sure.
Why are they trying to kill us? Are they assassins? Dominion operatives?
They're Nords. This is what we do for fun.
Oh, Tyr's a Nord. Cool. I want to know what this does. Can we... Broken bottles. At the start of your turn, deal 1 damage to a random enemy. So it just is always going to do 1 damage to him. So we're both on a clock. Alright, well... I think... This is greedy, but I kind of think you always keep these 2 cards. Because even though this is such a late play, it could just help us get back in it. And this helps us play it a turn early. That said, I think that we can't keep a second 4-drop. Alright, so we have another 3-drop, which is reasonable. Yep, we take 1 point of damage. This is what appears to be a legendary. Relentless Raider, 2-1 for 1. Wait, what? What happened? Oh, the creatures count as enemies. Wow, how lucky was that? After an enemy rune is destroyed, deal 1 damage to your opponent. Huh. I don't know. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is right, but that seems underwhelming. Because if you play this on turn 1, it's just probably going to eat removal and then it does nothing. But even if you get it going, you're going to break 1 rune a turn, so maybe you do like 1 extra damage. So you're basically just paying 1 for a 2-1, which isn't bad, but it's also not great. I mean, one way or the other, I'm glad the bottle killed it, but... I'm not sure that it was necessarily a threat. So... You know, we could either play our 2-5, which is definitely a huge body, or we can take the opportunity with his empty battlefield and just cast the Tree Minder and get us to Hive Defender a turn faster.
The waters of life.
Kind of seems like a no-brainer play. Again, the no-brainer play could have been totally wrong, but yeah, here, oh my god. What I say about this busted...
Alduin. I'll take the Vanguard.
I'm speechless. You should see me here. Maybe that would help. I'm speechless because both of those things were 0. So the power of 0 cost cards, and on his turn he was able to play a 2-3. And when this takes damage, it gains +2/+0. So if a bottle hits this by accident, it just is... It could become a 4, and then a 6, and then an 8. Like, we could lose to this card. So instead of playing Hive Defender, I think we just need to kill that. That was an awesome animation. The jaws clamping shot like that. Very cool. I mean, at least we get a card here, but... You may play this. I don't want to kill a 1-3 with a javelin. I want to save this. Can I put it here? Nice. Okay. Alright, yeah, so this worked out fine. Okay. So, Hive Defender, Midnight Snack is an option. Midnight Sweep, Midnight Snack, Cliffside Lookout. I think I probably want to not use the ring when I have the option not to. I don't know if that's right.
Is someone out there?
We'll play Midnight Snack and Cliffside Lookout. We'll use all 5. Keep this javelin for one of his bigger threats. Well, maybe we should have killed that when we had the chance. Okay. We can do this, and then still do that. And then we could also play... Because the 2... I'm not worried about a 2-2. This card has kind of done its job, right? Give a creature 2-2 and guard. Having a 2-2 body isn't bad. The problem is, on his turn, if a bottle hits this, it kills it.
We can do this.
But I still think we just save this ring effect. Okay. Of course. 25% chance, right? There's a lot going on here.
Time to fight.
Why is it?
Time to fight.
Friendly red creatures have +1/+0. So friendly red creatures have +1/+0. This card gave him 2 of those 0-cost creatures. I mean, he had to pay 3 for them. But let's talk about this. Paying 3 for 4/1 worth of 4/2 worth of power and toughness with charge. It doesn't seem like the worst. Alright, let's take our trades. And I think it's time to put some guards down so that... I mean, he has nothing, so we can take a turn off to play this support, right? And considering he does have creatures with haste, let's also...
My sword is yours.
Let's also play that, just in case. If he has another one of these raiding party cards, this will at least eat 1, which I think is better than nothing. Keep a little damage off us. Alright, that's fine.
This should be good.
5-1. Alright, with prophecy. Oh, man, you couldn't have hit that, huh? That would have been living the dream. So what is this? When this attacks, put 2 1/1 Nord Firebrands with Charger in your hand. That's that 0-cost creature. Wow, this Markarth Bannerman is awesome. Alright, so... this is what we will do here. I think we want to keep these alive just in case we do draw a dragon. Like, this guard kind of served its purpose. It seems... like a smart idea at this point to use this javelin. Like, I don't know that we'll have a better target than this card, and this card just gives them so much value. We could trade our 2 guys into it, but I don't want to lose them for no reason.
For Falkreath. For Falkreath.
Should have attacked first there, just to get all of our information, so my ordering was wrong. Now, if we play this, what do? We just give this guard, and giving that guard seems bad because we want to keep it alive. So, I think we'll just play this. We'll lose the opportunity to use all of our... That's fine. I have no fear of you, cowardly skeever. Another one of those. Sure.
The day will be ours.
Okay. That's really good. A 5/5. We can't really answer that right now. Man, that bottle coming in clutch with those Relentless Raiders. Wow. Well, now we can answer this with a 6/6 of our own, right? So let's attack first.
For Falkreath. For Falkreath.
And we'll play this. This is interesting because there's only 1 lane, so we're basically paying 4 for a 2/2 guard. That seems like something we don't want to do now. Especially since he can just eat the 2/2 guard. What we want him to do is lose this creature to our creature. And that's the same reason we're also not going to play Hive Defender here. Because if I just play this out, and he attacks into it, it doesn't kill it, but, you know, this is still alive, and I just want to get this trade, and then next turn we can play some of our other guards. And we're so far ahead on board at this point that, you know, I'm fine taking it slow. That's really good for him.
Follow me, men.
Another one of those. Wow. This was a great top deck. Because this is a problem, but I just don't think we can let that live. Let's attack first. We're not going to trade a dude into here, I don't think. Maybe we do.
For Falkreath.
Yeah, I'm okay with this. And then we edict this. Edict your opponent, Liliana. Play a Hive Defender here, and pass turn.
The day will be ours.
Man, if it had hit here, we would have been able to make a trade. As it stands, I think we just attack. I mean,
For Falkreath.
if we play nothing and he attacks here, this survives. We technically would have lethal, but if he plays anything else, we don't. So I think we need to make a couple moves. We want to play this so that this can't kill this, and we'll play this to also give this guard.
Time to take the offensive.
And again, this is where I was talking about where this creature could eat this creature, but at this point we have so much power on board to just kill our opponent that I don't honestly think it matters. Oh, and we get the other 2/1 guard out of it because we have a dragon. Very cool. Okay. And that doesn't matter. And I don't know what this is, but this doesn't really matter either. When a friendly creature destroys an enemy room, equip it with a random item. So there's some RNG effects. Oh my god. He played a lot of zero-cost cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Intimidate enemy creatures, lose guard. That's really great. He 1, 2, 3, 4. He got 4 of our creatures to lose guard. Well, that's good. Again, we could take trades here, but we don't want to be cute. We just want to win. Hive Defender is a real MVP here. I think just in general, so we'll give him the lethal blow. That random bottle effect in that match was really cool. So we had the pirate match where the wind was blowing creatures between the lanes, and then we also had this random bottle effect in this match, which was awesome. And I came in clutch against those 2/1 creatures. So we got some gold for that. And we're 1 game away from completing Act 2. Oh, is this blue cards? I'm going to open that last. Oh, and we got a pack. Oh, we got a lightning bolt. Well, you already know how I feel about this card. I haven't seen it even do anything except kill my own creatures, and I love everything about it. I think that this is probably one of the best constructed playable cards in blue in this game, and I'm saying that knowing absolutely nothing else about the color. It just seems that good. 4 cost seems really, really, really high. But I think the fact that, you know, it gives you reach is one thing to consider, and you could also play it for free. So, you know, you have to... I think if this was 2 or 3, then it would just probably be unbalanced. Shrieking Harpy for 2/1 Prophecy, shackle an enemy creature. Okay, so if your opponent has a bunch of creatures to attack you, say 4 creatures, and they attack you with 1, and then you get this Harpy, you can play it and then prevent one of the other 3 creatures from attacking. So that seems, again, just a tempo card. So blue definitely seems like a control color in this game for sure. Then we have Tome of Alteration, +2/+2, draw a card. So this is interesting, right? Because I went on a rant about how I don't really like items in games, or this type of effect in games, because if you play it and then your opponent destroys whatever creature it's on, like let's say we were to play Tome of Alteration on Shrieking Harpy, we would have a 4/3, but if our opponent just destroyed Shrieking Harpy, then the buff would be gone, and it wouldn't really do us any good. That said, this replaces itself, so you're not really getting 2 for 1 because it gets you a card deeper into your own deck. So this pack, I really like what I'm seeing here. I can't wait to actually play with blue. And all 3 of them are added to that green-blue deck. So I think we're going to have to debut that in our next video. So let's move on. Oh, we have a pack which I didn't look at.
Lying. The Legion should be nearby.
There they are.
Hail! I am Tyr, Knight Brother of the Blades.
They don't look pleased to see us.
Tyr is a blade. So this is interesting because the blades in Skyrim are your allies in the main quest. And then let's try to keep this spoiler free. They're allies in your main quest, but then after you complete the main quest, the blades kind of give you this weird ultimatum quest in Skyrim, and you have to either do something and stay in their good graces, or basically tell them to fuck off, and then they are no longer your allies. And the choice that I always made playing Skyrim was to tell them to fuck off, as I think most players probably did based on the ultimatum. So knowing that Tyr is a blade is not a way for him to stay in our personal good graces. We may eventually need to tell him to fuck off. We'll see what happens. Act 2 rewards. We get an Imperial Might deck, solo arena mode, don't know what that is, and then an event ticket, and I don't know what we use them for. So let's just play the last chapter in Act 2 and see how that. You don't understand how tempted I am to just click on this deck and play it, but I think that I have experience with this deck now, so going into the boss, we definitely want to stay consistent, and I really want to do a nice recap of this deck, probably for Act 3, and maybe we'll take this deck through Act 3. I didn't seem really impressed by Black Marsh Smugglers. It doesn't seem like the style of deck that I most likely would play. I probably should visit it at some point, just so that everyone can have my thoughts on it, but for right now, we're going to stick with... And you know what's interesting? We have not seen Alduin in a single playthrough of this deck, or a single match with this deck. We'll probably have him in our opening hand now because I said something, right? That's the way these things go. Yeah. Alright, so hopefully you made it this far in. I didn't realize this video was so long. This is unbearable. I may have to chop this, but if you did make it this far in, this moment alone was probably worth all your time. I'm going to pitch Alduin the 20 cost and Devour, because we don't want to have 2 4s, and we'll just keep Hive Defender because, again, this card just seems too good to pass up. We have a 2-drop. Alright, cool.
We're not going back there. The Imperial Legion is doomed.
Well, the deserters have to go, right? I mean, come on, we can't stand for treason. This is a nice curve, though. 2 4 6. Sure, I'm with it.
Your orders. Your orders.
Oh, what is this? Scouting Patrol. Summon a 1/1 Imperial Grunt in each lane. Is this tokens? Are we playing a token deck? Do tokens exist in this game? I'm thinking the answer to all these questions is 100% maybe yes. Javelin seems awful in this matchup if this really is tokens, because what are you going to do? Javelin a 1/1 creature? That value.
There's a plan.
Alright, we'll play Bruma. And, this could really help us get back in this game if he does a lot of face damage. Just if we're able to gain, you know, 1 or 2 points of life back by having him out could be really beneficial. Let's see what this card does. 5th Legion Trainer. When you summon another creature, give it +1/+0. Yeah, so, you know, this is what I'm talking about. At the end of my last video, I mentioned how some cards are just really bad and some cards are really good. And when you see a really good card, you know it because, I don't know, it just seems so much better than, you know, other cards. Like, it's a 1/3, which is fine, but you honestly don't even really care about the body. You just care about what it does. And if you play this, and then, you know, our opponent plays another one of these Scouting Patrol cards, he just makes, for 1 mana, a 2/1 here and a 2/1 here. And
You won't spoil my plan.
that's kind of a big deal.
Someone out there?
Let's play this. And we get, you know, a health back, which is good, and these two both have to trade in here.
You can't defeat me.
Okay, so this is... If your opponent doesn't damage you on their turn, sacrifice this and summon a Priest of the Moons in each lane. And Priest of the Moons are 2/2 creatures, and when they come out, you gain 2 health. So it would put a 2/2 in each lane, and he would gain 4 health. Well, that's not really the end of the world, but we'll
You won't foil my plan.
do this. And I really, like, this would be a fine Piercing Javelin target. Like, if we had 5, I would Javelin that all day. But as it stands, I think we just probably play... Since he only has that, and like putting a Hive Defender over here doesn't really do anything, because we could just put our 0 cost over here and that does essentially the same thing. It allows us to make a trade. That seems like the right play. Okay, shackle a creature. A 3/2, sure. Alright, well, this isn't great, right? Because now we have this. He's still getting the benefit of this card. Like, how much of a threat is this really? We can just keep gaining life maybe with this card. We could just go Midnight Snack, Treeminder, and just keep gaining life with this card.
The waters of life.
Is someone out there?
You won't foil my plan.
And I got a little excited about playing my creatures that I attacked last, which I think is the wrong order to do this in. So, learn from my mistakes, everyone. Hopefully these videos, this video, and my narrative is definitely helpful. Again, if you already know how to play the game and you're watching this, you're probably just thinking, why is he doing what he's doing? But so I think that this gives everything +0/+2. So this is a high priority kill. So I think we have to take this trade here. So let's attack here. We have 7. So the only way we can do 7 is if we do this and Jav. But I don't think we need to Javelin that. I think we could just do this and this to maybe make a guard.
You won't foil my plan.
So we can go... And then this has to trade into this. And then we either have a trade here with a 6/6 on board, or maybe we need to go over the top of it with the 6/6, depending upon what he plays. Sure. Oh, running a Javelin of his own, I see. Okay, well, that's a really good draw. Because we can play this and this. And we need to keep damaging him, otherwise he gets his 2 Moons Contemplation trigger. And I don't honestly think it's a big deal if that happens, but, I mean, if we can...
Take your positions.
I guess we'll split the guards up.
Who goes there?
And he's doing the same. And he's gaining a few more life. What?
Your orders. You won't spoil my plan.
I'm not gonna lie, that seems pretty good. So we have to do it like this to keep this alive. And we have to attack. Well, we don't have to attack, but it seems in our favor to do so. And then we could play a tree minder over here maybe, and just...
The waters of life.
And what I say at the beginning of this match about this piercing javelin? Oh. Well. Yep. Looks like we found our target for piercing javelin because we don't otherwise have an answer for a 6-6. Like, we can answer a 3-4, right? We can answer a 1-2, we can answer a 3-4. All that is fine. We don't have an answer for a 6-6. So let's take some trades here just to make sure that we're keeping the board clear. Alright. We'll attack. I don't like giving my opponent cards because we're about to have none. But we also have lethal, and he does not.
Your orders. You won't escape alive.
So the only way we actually... Oh, I guess we can just devour this and then attack through. So we'll just do that.
Look. Legate Cassia has arrived. Run, men!
And we finished with more life than we started with against tokens, which seems really good, actually. And that's Act 2. A Hero's Journey. We got more gold. Septims.
Well, look who it is. Thanks for taking out those deserters for me, Tyr. Have you come to serve the Emperor once more?
Cassia, we need to speak with him immediately.
The Emperor was horrified to hear of Lord Norofin's plan, but he knew an attack on the Imperial City was doomed to fail. Somehow the Dominion could predict his forces' every move. The hero volunteered to infiltrate the city and discover the source of this ability.
Was the city not guarded?
Ah, well, you see, Norofin had recently reopened the arena. The hero resolved to pose as a gladiator to gain entry. Once inside, swims at night would lead them to a secret passageway into the White Gold Tower.
Alright, Cassia has joined us. I don't know what that actually does. So I know once I click these rewards, it's going to autoplay to the... oh, so we got our event ticket. And we know what they are, and I got another deck. I forget what it is. But I don't want to click through here because as soon as I click, it's going to trigger the scene, which will be the start of Act 3. I don't want to trigger that yet. So, so thoughts about Act 2. They introduced a couple new things. We got Lethal. We got Drain. Maybe Lethal was in the last video. I can't remember, but one way or the other, we upgraded some other cards, leveled up a little bit, got a Breton card. Got to experiment with what, as far as I can tell, is a pretty strong deck. There's just tremendous synergy in that Alduin's Apocalypse deck. We've got the guard synergy, we have the dragon synergy, and like I said, for those of you who stuck it through to the last game to see my opening hand, what a riot. So we're going to wrap up here. Thank you for tuning in and watching Act 2. We're going to start on Act 3 with the blue-green deck next because I can't wait to take some blue cards in this game for a spin. I think it's going to be a good time, and I think I'm going to really enjoy it. So thank you for watching. This is Jeff. Take care.